So the Anbernic RG Rotate that I've got here, on paper is nothing crazy. T618 processor, 3 gigs of RAM, a 720 by 720 screen. You've seen it all before. But after using it for the last few days, something just clicked. Because each time I've had it in my hands, I seriously cannot put it down. And yeah, there's a few reasons for that, but there's also a couple of things that could have elevated it to a completely different level, which we'll get into in a moment. So stick around for my first impressions of this. You know, I could do this for the whole video. It's just so satisfying. So I actually thought this handheld would be much bigger than this in person. So when I first opened it, I was actually pleasantly surprised. Personally, I really like the footprint of the RG Rotate. I mean, screen size is pretty good. A 3.5 inch 1x1 screen. It's kind of a sweet spot because it's still highly portable. And at arm's length, you definitely don't need to squint. So next, the party trick. The rotate, swivel thing, whatever you want to call it. You can actually flick it open one-handed, quite easily in fact. But closing it definitely requires two hands, I'd say, just to be on the safe side. So this really reminds me of something like the Motorola V70 phone from back in the day, and in fact a lot of devices from that era. If you're old enough to remember, it was kind of like a thing back then. Slide, rotate, flip up, we had it all. So Anbernic have really gone for the nostalgic juggler here, and you know what, I think they've hit the bullseye. This is pretty well executed and definitely a real throwback. This is what it sounds like, by the way. I would have preferred a little more dampening to the sound, but it's not too bad. So the rotation is actually pretty smooth and the whole mechanism feels solid. It's a proprietary ultra-thin alloy hinge, which they're supposedly stress tested tens of thousands of times. So far, no real issues with this at all, so I'll take their word for it on that one. I've always believed the way a device looks and feels matters before it's even switched on, because if you don't enjoy picking it up, you're probably not going to use it. So it was actually a real surprise when I got hold of this, because it feels actually quite premium. It's got that tiny but solid feel, you know, kind of like a lot of 2000s tech. So the RG Rotate has a metal build, well, aluminum alloy to be precise. The black model, which is the one I have here, actually only has an aluminum alloy front and a plastic rear housing. Now the silver colourway, that's the all aluminum alloy version, front and back. We'll get onto pricing in a bit later. Now it's hard to tell on camera, but you're going to have to trust me on this one. This feels surprisingly nice in the hands. I imagine the silver one feels even better to the touch. If you're seriously considering the RG Rotate, what I will say is that you've got to get your expectations straight with this one. One look at this when they first dropped the teaser, and I knew right away this was going to be a Pico 8, Game Boy and Game Boy Color handheld for me. And that's exactly what I've been playing on it. You're kind of restricted with the 1x1 screen ratio. Although I will say I've been enjoying GBA, Neo Geo, SNES and Mega Drive on it as well. So it isn't too bad. What I especially love is how this is essentially a vertical handheld hidden in a compact design. Now obviously the buttons and D-pad are a little more recessed than usual, similar to the PSP Go in fact. That's just the nature of a design like this, you can't have it all. But it's still pretty good all things considered. Now comfort wise, I'm more than okay with this. Sits in my hands really comfortably. Now the triggers are quite interesting, they're flush as you can see, but an extra raised set of triggers comes supplied in the box, which I'm planning on fitting at some point because the flush set here is not great, I have to say. You can hardly tell with your fingers where L2 and R2 actually is, so that's an essential move I think if you're getting one of these. That does involve removing the shell and being very careful with the internals, but it's nice you're given the choice. I really like this built-in button mapping they have for games that need an analog stick, like Final Doom on PlayStation 1. One press of the power button plus the volume up button maps the D-pad as an analog stick, and press it again and it reverts back to the D-pad. I like that, very thoughtful of them. The lock screen, which we've all seen by now, is actually quite nice, but I wish there was a few other options in the settings though. I think this one is my favourite for now. Now the speaker is what I consider to be average sounding, and for some reason it's placed on the rear of the device. And I'll be honest, it isn't great because sometimes you actually cover it with your fingers when you're holding it, so the sound actually becomes a little muffled, but it is what it is. Now battery life has been okay. I mean, it's a smaller device with a smaller battery, so to be expected really. but I got about 4 to 5 hours from mixed use, and that is from full charge until about 3% battery, so overall it's long enough for your commute into work and return home, I'd say. And in this day and age of portable power banks, you're never really going to be caught out. We'll get onto gaming in a moment, but I just want to show you the music function on here because obviously they lean into that quite hard in the promo stuff, and it looks like an MP3 player, doesn't it, as well? First of all, no 3.5mm output. A real shame, but not the end of the world. I actually had one of these USB-C dongles with a 3.5mm female end lying around, so you can just pop it in like so. This one has a DAC built in, so it handles all of the processing. Connect your earphones, and there you go. It's like stepping back in time. That cassette music player app is just so cool, I've got to say. The wheels actually move as you play music and pause when you stop. Nice little detail. And there is a whole bunch of cassettes you can actually choose from. Really nice detail with this app. I personally love it. I also love how they used a sticker and image to cover over the brand name. Hilarious. Spotify is great as well. Because it's a touchscreen, you can simply load up a song, close it and just use it like so. Don't judge me, okay? I can't remember if it was shown in the promos, but there's also a nice little throwback to Tamagotchi on here. Come on, how cool is that? The swivel mechanism, the MP3 player, Tamagotchi. Man, this takes me right back. You may have noticed this lanyard hole. I'm about to go all 2000s now. Yeah, baby. Wearing it on the Peak Design mobile crossbody strap here, and it's perfect for keeping this out your pockets, but close to hand. Hidden underneath a jacket as well, but accessible. I like it. And really, that is the crust of it. This isn't just a retro handheld, it's more than that. They've gone with the hope that you have an emotional connection here. And largely, you do. Well, I do. The only thing that's missing now is the snake game on here. Wait, oh god. So, onto the actual gaming side of things, feels very much like a vertical handheld when open. The 1x1 screen is absolutely perfect for Pico 8. Colours, contrast, visibility, all very good here. I love me some Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, and this is fantastic for that. I have a soft spot for GBA, and by and large it plays pretty good on here. Not the perfect screen, obviously. It comes out a bit small, but playable. Oh, you can also have it closed and play touchscreen Android games, like Skyforce Reloaded here, which is pretty neat if you want to keep it in its smallest form factor. Also, these are some of the games that have me especially hooked on here. Now, price-wise, you're looking at around $88 for the black model. That's the one with the aluminum alloy front and plastic back. Or about $108 for the full aluminum version in silver. Both available soon with early bird pricing, so go check it out for yourselves. Release date, I've heard, will be May the 11th, I believe, but do check their socials for more info. And honestly, I would go for the all aluminum alloy version in silver because after using this for the last few days, you do actually feel the difference in quality. There's like a little mismatch. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this is one little fun machine that I'm compelled to pick up when I just look at it. Because sometimes it's not really about the spec sheet, it's about how a device feels in your hands, whether it makes you want to pick it up and actually play it day to day. And if you keep reaching for it more than anything else, then that's where the real value is, really, isn't it? Now, there are a couple of things I wish Anbernic would have addressed though. Number one, no 3.5mm headphone jack. Honestly, what were they thinking? If there's any handheld in their lineup that should have had one, it's this one. And number two, I kind of wish they'd just committed to the full aluminum version from the start, because this half aluminum, half plastic setup, it just feels a little mismatched in the hands. I'm really looking forward to getting hold of the silver version though, because I have a feeling that one might feel a lot more complete. But overall, I really like this thing as it is. There's no doubt that RG Rotate is definitely one of their better releases. For me personally, I think this is a great little handheld to just keep a small rotation of games on. Nothing heavy, just a handful of everyday games you can come back to. Maybe 5 per system. I've really enjoyed using it that way. So what about you guys? Does the RG Rotate seem appealing to you? Spew your thoughts in the comments. A real interesting one this. Quirky, but fun. And I can do this all day. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. And do please consider subscribing if you haven't already. There's more content on this coming. I'll see you in the next one.